The script and the characters, and I think that's something that I really look for when I'm looking at a project.
When I first got the script, I went to a coffee shop for like an hour and a half and I read it, and that was enough, and then knowing some people in it was like icing on the cake kind of thing.
I just loved all the characters. I think they were way more than one time mentioned.
As soon as I knew that there were good people, because I had met Philip a couple months back beforehand when he was still doing the trailer stuff for it, and I really liked him. He was great.
The story, the script, I read it in like one night. Like I got sent it and then I was auditioning the next day and I just powered through and I couldn't put it down. It was just engaging.
It's the first script that I've read where I felt physically ill in the best way possible.
Definitely Philip and his script idea. Yeah, he wrote a killer script, and that was comparable to some Tarantino and Coen Brothers kind of flicks. So, story.
Yeah. Different, I guess, because it's sort of like a bunch of different stuff wrapped into one thing. And I thought that was exciting, and I'm like, whoa, if I'm reading this and I can't put it down, then when we make it, people are going to be like, wow. So that's why I wanted to do that.
It's, yeah, it really played with my emotions and really was a roller coaster, and I just wanted to be part of it right away.
Clive is a little more than just an idiot. I like playing idiots, but Clive is a little more than that, so there was a bit more to it. And
you know, the character does progress, but in the beginning I think she's a lot more jellyfish-like.
Without painting myself to look like some sort of weirdo.
She seems like she is a people pleaser. I find that she has this, she wants to make everybody happy in a way, you know, make sure everyone's alright, make sure everyone's fine on the outside.
Maybe something to do with like where he comes from and like not a normal upbringing, I guess, would be the best way that I could think of saying the similarities. It's not hard to find differences. I've never done those things to people.
I relate to Sam in the way that she rationalizes, and she doesn't say much, but when she like does, people tend to listen.
before I met my wife, I never was really all that great with the women. So it's interesting, this guy thinks he's great with the women. I knew I wasn't.
And I don't think I'm like that at all. I think if I have an opinion, I usually state it. And I have problems with boundaries too, and I think she knows hers.
She's similar to me because she always thinks she's doing the right thing, and she's always trying to do the right thing. I do that as well. But I think the difference is she is a little too anal retentive compared to me.
This guy is funny because he thinks he's putting something over. He thinks he's running a good line on them.
I think she does have a genuine belief in humanity and in people.
There's a part of her that's very dark that I probably can relate to, but not as much. And so in that sense, like, there's that balance between the two of us, which I find interesting about this character and which I draw from. But she definitely has a twistier side that I would say that's very different.
And I think that she just is in her own mind constantly, and she doesn't really get what goes on in other people's minds, nor does she care.
I don't really relate to her in how fucking rude she is. I mean, she's so rude. She's just like, she's a bitch. She's in your face. She's loud-mouthed. I'm not really like that in real life. I joke. I kid.
Right. And Sam doesn't, though.
And Sam doesn't really know. She means business.
And then the whole... No, that would be a spoiler. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like the whole cast. You guys are awesome. Philip is just awesome, and he's super talented. His writing skills are great.
I like the fact that it's one location. I think that's fantastic.
With Catherine, who I know, and we get to work together now, and even with Al, and then just meeting Philip and everyone else, I haven't met everyone else more than once. I think there's still someone I haven't met, but it's definitely like a unique way of filming, and that's kind of, it's fun.
Interacting with the rest of the actors. I mean, the movie is the movie, but there's lots of fun outside that, and yeah, everybody's great to work with. I'm enjoying them very much.
It makes it more familiar, and really helps to get me grounded whenever I'm here, whenever I arrive.
We're all coming together for this and putting it, you know, making it happen, and everyone's putting in different parts of their day to make it work. And I think that's why ultimately it's going to be a really successful film.
The more time that I spend here, the more time I get to know the place as a character, as an actor, and just get more comfortable, you know, and you're not as kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're like, you know, working on a set, like they're called in just on that day, you have never seen it before, and all of a sudden you have to like, oh right, I've been here for the past 10 years, I should know this, and you know, whereas this one really, it really is real, it's organic because we get to really experience it.
Pressure's off. I mean, pressure's on and pressure's off. I mean, we're all here for the same reason, and we all understand that it's an indie process and that's kind of, you know, by the seat of your pants. But I like that. It's just more organic. It's more, I don't know, we have more time, we have more space to kind of work within, and yeah, pressure's off a little bit more.
I think we have a really good energy. Everyone's really gung-ho and game to do anything, and Philip as a director has just been really easy to work with. Like he's got a vision, and then he like tells us, and it's been really clear, which is cool, you know, and it's been like, all right, cool, let's just do this, we're doing this, here it is.
The set has two mascots, a little schnauzer, Ziggy, and an even littler Persian cat, Star.
Right.
Because you're kind of putting all the trust in Philip and everyone else who's doing their thing, and then we saw a cut of some of the stuff that had been done whenever it had been done, and to see like the way we were shooting and to see it cut together was kind of cool.
So that they will feel better about themselves, that they don't work with a group of people like this. I mean, nobody could possibly be this dysfunctional.
Because it's so different. It's nothing like anyone has ever seen before.
People should watch this movie because of its potboiler process.
The writing is great. The writing is cool. It's a unique story. It's something that's different.
Well, it's super entertaining. Like, it's gonna be, when you think it's going one way, suddenly it veers off into a completely different direction.
For those who are big fans of indie flicks or cult flicks or things that take you by surprise, this is definitely going to be one of those movies that is going to be like, what? Where did that come from?
How many characters there are and how complex it is. You think it's about one thing, it becomes another. I think that's what people are going to gravitate towards.
I think that's something that movies these days, you kind of get what you expect, and this one is breaking down all those barriers.
It's exciting in that way because it's different. It's not to say that it's so different that it hasn't been seen before, hasn't been thought of or said, because I feel like everything has been done, quote unquote, right? But this is a different take on it, so it makes it different in its own way.
You really don't know who's who.
In real life, these people are, and this, well, that would be another spoiler, never mind.